What's happening? I hope you guys enjoyed the video that I made on the Raspberry Pi 5. Um, Today we're going to go over VPS servers. I've got an older system that I had laying around. I built it in 2010. It's really old, but it's powerful. It is a EVGA E760 classified X58 chipset motherboard. They released back in 2010. I maxed out the CPU on it to a Xeon 5680 CPU. It's a 6-core, 12 threads. The base frequency is at 3.33 gigahertz. It's very overclockable on that board. That was kind of the first um, very stable boards that came out that were super overclockable. And then I've maxed out the memory to DDR3, 24 gigabytes of 1066 megahertz. And for whatever reason, TeamViewer thinks I'm using my stuff for commercial purposes, and I'm not. So we're gonna have a really hard time trying to show some of the stuff to you through that. But I'm gonna try and struggle through this. I just put in a request saying that I don't use it other than to connect to my PCs in my house, to like remote in, update my node, download, game updates or whatever that I need, or help family out. So not sure why they have my account flagged. So I think I get 5 minutes of use before it shuts down, and I think I have to wait a minute before I can load it back up. So it's going to be kind of annoying to show this. That thing's down in the basement. I really don't want to bring it up here to make a video on it, because it's I have Ubuntu loaded to it as the main OS. So I wanted to go ahead and show you how I have it set up, and then how to install additional virtual machines on there. So literally like the VPS servers that people are using, that they're paying for, I'm literally just running those on this other computer. So I run a node on the primary OS that's installed, and then for each additional node that I want to run, I just create another virtual environment. And then theoretically, on this CPU I could probably run 25 virtual environments. So pretty powerful to have just one PC. And that thing, like I said, it's built in 2010. You could literally go and um, like, I don't know. I'll throw a couple different systems. You don't have to necessarily get them through Amazon, but it's just easier to link to Amazon products. But I'll just pick out a couple that should be more than enough based on current specs for Gala requiring PC for the nodes. You can always add to them later, but I'll go a little bit above and beyond that in case later down the road the specs do increase. That way, shouldn't have any problem. Um, but I mean, you kind of get to get in the weeds of that stuff too, because you can look at, max memory. Memory is going to be your friend running these virtual machines, because they're going to eat up a lot of RAM. And as you add more and more of these virtual machines to one PC, you just have to kind of keep an eye on performance. Make sure they're not, that system's just not getting bogged down from all those virtual machines running on there. But I didn't have any problem running a primary node with a film, music, and then a music node running by itself. I don't have a founder's node. I didn't buy one. Kind of kicking myself for that. Really wish I would have got one early on. When I first found Gala, I think at that time they had just hit $15,000. That was just kind of getting out of reach at that point for me. But still, hindsight, I kind of wish I would have scrounged it up and grabbed one. But I didn't, so I'm just dealing with 2 music nodes and 1 film node. See if we can load this up real quick. Okay, so here's my virtual environment. I'm gonna go through this really fast because they're gonna cut me off. Like yesterday, pretty much on the Raspberry Pi 5, if you type your password correctly, get in here. Let's see here. Don't send. Okay, so I have this node running here, but then I also have Oracle VirtualBox. This is a free program you can download. And so this is the local system here. And then for each additional node I want to run, I can actually add a new machine. So let's do that. Okay, I've never done this before actually. Recent home, select a virtual machine file. I'm kind of wondering if I can't copy these. I don't think this is where I want to be. Oh, new, right here. New. Okay, so let's go node 2. And we want Linux, and we're going to go Ubuntu 64-bit. Next. All right, memory size. We want 4 gigabyte. So 4 gigabyte is going to be, let's see here. 4096. I don't know why I didn't know that. So we'll just do 4096. That's going to be your standard 4 gigabyte amount. Goes in recommended is 1024. You don't need that much, or you need a little bit more than that. I think the requirement is 4 gig. So we'll just go 4 gig. We're going to create a virtual hard disk. And we're just going to select 10 gig. I think it said 40 gig. Now, if you do this, you might want to have to get like a bigger main drive so that you can partition this thing out into 40 gigabyte sizes, because that's the minimum recommended size. You can also get like a really big hard drive and then just have it start at 40 gigabyte and then flex as it needs more space. So down the road, if the requirements increase, it can also increase proportionally based on what it needs. Most of these virtual machine disk image dynamically allocated. We'll just go dynamically allocated. We'll start 10 gig. Okay, so we got our Gala node 2 here, and then our node 2 that we created. Now, if you go into settings, this is where you can kind of fine tune your system, giving it different features like a hard disk, network access. Oh, this is boot order. Let's go to display. Shouldn't need to change anything there. Storage. We're gonna go with our Ubuntu 2204 ISO. So if we go to Ubuntu's website and download the 2204 64-bit ISO, you basically link that. So let's go choose a disk file, and then wherever that downloads, you're going to click on it, and then when the system boots up, it's actually going to boot from that drive. Let's see, network. Shouldn't have to change anything in here. Primarily, we're just worried about storage, CPU, and RAM. I'm going to click this enable 3D acceleration because I do have an AMD 580 card, I believe, 4 gigabyte card. So it does have some graphics on that, on the host system. And then we're just going to hit OK. And then we'll hit start. But I kind of want to see, yeah. So literally, it will allow me to clone that. So once you set up one, you should be able to clone, get everything set up. And the only thing you would have to do different is go in there and change your API keys. I would just create an API key for each virtual system that I create and just put them in sequential order. I would even label them. how you have your API key labeled. So if it's you know, Ubuntu VM1, Ubuntu VM2, and then I would just label my API keys to those as well, so I know which virtual system goes to what API key. But that's pretty much it. Let me see if we can wait a minute here. I really wish they'd fix my account. It's kind of annoying that they did that. Let's give it a minute here. We'll pop back in there for another 5 minutes, and I'll show you a few things. So literally each one of those that you set up, you just literally go to the gala.node.com dashboard and just run through those Linux commands to set each one up. It's really that simple. It's pretty much just like setting up a VPS server, but you're just setting up a VPS server locally instead. Now, if something comes down the road where they're going to geographically separate the nodes, you could go into each one of those virtual machines, set up a VPN, try to find a VPN provider that allows unlimited connections or 10 connections. You know, 10 would be 9 virtuals and then 1 base host system. So it's quite a few. So you could literally put your nodes in 10 different locations then off that one service. You just have to make sure it's compatible with Linux. And I'm sure there's other people in the community that are pretty savvy with this stuff. I'm not like 100% savvy on like using a VPN and like setting all that stuff up. So there might actually be like a free VPN service you could use where you don't have any cost associated with it, and you just set up your network connection settings to connect to those free VPN services that would then geographically target your areas you want to go to. So it simulate that virtual machine is in Dallas, Texas, or South America, or Europe, or wherever. Let's see if we can load this up. Okay, so let's power up. This one's already installed, so let's power this one up. You can make the login identical across the board for all of them, so that way it's not hard to remember, you know, 20 different passwords to get in there into each one of them. And then we're going to go to terminal. And honestly, yeah, so it's running. That's on my Raspberry Pi 5, so it's curious that I did a status. And it's actually showing running. So it's probably going to sit there and conflict and fight back and forth between my Raspberry Pi and this, so I'm going to shut this down. But yeah, that just goes to show you that, you know, this is running 2 different, let's see here. Let's make this a little smaller. So this player node's running in here, ends in 31D, and this one's B78. So that's 2 separate nodes running on the same PC. So this one's got a film and a player node. So this one's just got a player. So both of those are running at the same time right now on the same exact PC, physical PC in my basement. But that's it. If you guys got any questions, hit me up. I'm in the Discord, Conductor Chaos. And hopefully this will help you guys out, cut them VPS costs down. And hopefully everything works out. I'd like to see some new artists come on. And I've been tweeting on Twitter as much as I can to try to help promote the system. And that's it. Hit me up if you guys got any questions, and I hope this helps you out. Later.